We begin this presentation on books 11 and 12 of the Iliad. This book is interesting because not only are we reaching the almost halfway point through the work by Homer, but we are in the midst of a raging battle between the Greeks and the Trojans, and the Greeks being called the Achaeans. So when we say Achaeans, we do mean the Greek side. But as the individual warriors are wounded within this book, it is a good representation of the larger body of Greeks or Achaeans that are wounded. So this book here serves basically as a microcosm for all of the warriors that are wounded, are basically when you put them together, they're a microcosm of the larger body of warriors that are wounded. The Trojans and the Achaeans are getting ready for battle. We quickly see the major players on the Greek side are wounded. Ajax is fighting on his own. He is going in trying to just basically keep up what's left of the mindset and the willingness and the futile attempts on the Greek side. And Achilles is still at this time sitting back and watching, because remember, he wants his viewpoint is not so much to fight on behalf of the Greeks to let them win because he is one of them, but he wants to fight in order to glorify himself. So it's not really a true intrinsic pure motive fighting that he is doing, because he is only wanting to glorify himself. So again, as this Achaean body is wounded, we have this picture here which will show you the representation. The Greek side has taken a major hit. We begin with Agamemnon, who is hit in the arm with a spear, Diomedes, who has been hit on his foot with an arrow, Odysseus has been stabbed through his shield, and then Eurypylus, who is another Greek warrior, has been stabbed in the thigh by a spear. So as you see all of these different wounds here, if we're looking at the Greek body as a whole, this band of warriors has been vastly crippled by the Trojan side. And again, this is part of the plan that Thetis and Zeus have cooked up on behalf of Achilles, because if we can get the warriors, the Greeks, so beaten down, they're going to go back and beg for Achilles to come back and fight with them. And when they do that, it is going to be high hail to the king, or Achilles has come back to help, and this will be the exact glorification that he is seeking. Achilles, as we've said, has continued to watch from his ship. He wants the Achaeans to realize he is needed, and the wounds that they have received will ensure that. And this is a part of the pride that he has. They will beg for his help. Nestor's suggestion here is a critical turning point in the book, because it is going to seal the fate of Patroclus. And remember, Patroclus is the prodigy, the work study of Achilles. Achilles is his mentor. He is teaching him everything he knows, and it's basically like a son or a nephew to him. And Nestor's suggestion is, why don't you put on the armor of Achilles? He's not going to fight, but you go out, let the army see you. It's going to give them this boost of confidence. It's going to be a shot in the arm to the Greeks. You don't have to do anything. Just put on this armor. But Patroclus is going to take it one step further. When book 12 opens up, Homer gives a plot spoiler. He goes ahead, lays it out there. The Trojans are sacked in the 10th and the final year of the war. And again, he reminds the reader of the purpose of the book, to satisfy the wrath of Achilles. And it is at this time that the Trojans decide they are going to break through, going to breach the wall, and this is going to allow them to win. And what is odd is at this time it's going to appear that the Trojans are winning, and this will give a false sense of confidence to the Trojan side. It is going to beat down again the Greeks, and that's exactly what Achilles wants to happen, because if that happens again, he's going to be they're going to beg for him to come back and help them fight. So it is all a terrible plot just to satisfy this thirst for glory that Achilles has, and it is on behalf and at the cost of many, many, many of the Greek soldiers. As Hector and Polydamas, his friend, his co-fighter, are about to try to breach the wall, Polydamas is warning Hector that this may not be such a good idea. There is an omen that flies over them, and it is an eagle holding a snake. And the eagle drops the snake, and Hector and Polydamas both interpret this omen in two separate ways. They see the eagle holding the live snake. Hector takes it as a go sign. Polydamas takes it as a warning that it is not a good sign. And they proceed just so. At this time, Poseidon is vastly angered at the Achaeans for not praying to him and asking for permission to build this Achaean wall, this Greek wall around their ships. And because he feels that he has been slighted, remember, everything is about everyone's pride, he allows the Trojans to enter also, which gives them a false victory, because Homer has plainly spelled out that they are not going to win the war. And again, we see this idea for Hector. We are following this idea of duty and control, just as we saw in books 5 and 6 when he was going to speak with his family. He was going to see Astyanax, his son, and Andromache one more time, and we saw that different side, not the fighter warrior side of Hector, but this one more familial side. He chastises Paris for his cowardice, his lack of responsibility. Hector knows that ultimately Troy will fall, but he fights fervently nonetheless. So even though he is fighting for what, the reader, everyone else would see as a losing cause, he is going to fight to the best of the ability, which is, again, showing this complete difference in character from Achilles.